Emily Carter, 27 years old, was the manager of a famous seafood restaurant right by the Miami beachfront. To everyone around her, she seemed like the perfect woman, beautiful, hardworking, kind-hearted, and adored by her staff and customers alike. But behind that perfect image was a heart that had been betrayed in the cruelest way. For 3 years, she had loved Jason Reed. She had trusted him, dreamed of building a family together, believed every sweet word he whispered late at night. But one careless night at a bar ruined it all. Jason met another woman and didn't even bother to hide it. He left Emily coldly, claiming, "We're not right for each other anymore." No apology, no regret. After that, Emily swore she'd never let herself fall in love again. She buried herself in work, staying at the restaurant from dawn till closing. At night, when the bustling tables fell silent and the ocean breeze grew strong, she would slip off her shoes and walk barefoot along the sand, letting the sound of the waves drown out her silent cries. One night, under a sky full of indifferent stars and biting wind, Emily sat curled up on the cold sand, tears streaming endlessly down her cheeks. Inside, her thoughts were a tangled mess, but outwardly she forced herself to look strong, as if no one could break her ever again. "You think I'd beg you to come back, Jason? Dream on," she whispered to herself, voice quivering against the crash of the tide. But the truth was, the more she forced herself to forget, the more it hurt. And every lonely night by the sea reminded her how deep the wound really was. The crashing waves kept pounding the cold shore, carrying away Emily's weary sighs. She brushed the sand off her skirt, ready to head home when, under the faint glow of a street lamp, her eyes caught something unusual. Not far away, near the water's edge, lay a man, motionless. His clothes were soaked, his face pale, dark hair clinging wetly to his forehead. Emily's heart clenched. "Oh my God, is he still alive?" she gasped, her trembling hand covering her mouth. Without a second thought, Emily sprinted over. She bent down, ear hovering near his lips. Thank goodness his chest still rose and fell faintly. In her panic, she fumbled for her phone and dialed Patrick, her cousin and eternal trouble fix. "Patrick, you need to get to the beach right now. I found a man unconscious. He's gorgeous but barely breathing." On the other end, Patrick practically screeched, "Emily, don't mess with me again. Last time you swore you found a handsome stranger, it was a stray dog. If you're lying, I'll pull your hair out strand by strand. I swear, it's real this time. Please hurry. He'll die if we don't help him." Less than 10 minutes later, Patrick's car skidded to a halt beside her. But Patrick's excitement vanished the moment he saw the beach completely deserted. "Damn you, Emily, you're messing with me again." "Where's the handsome guy, huh? There's no one here." Patrick's face was beyond expression. He angrily pulled Emily's hair. "Stupid woman. Where's the handsome guy you were talking about? There's no one. You know what? I almost got into an accident racing a truck just to get here faster. What a waste." Emily said, "There, look over there." He glanced around, suspiciously at first, but when he spotted the tall, broad-shouldered man with sun-kissed skin and sharp jawline lying limp in the sand, Patrick's jaw dropped. "Holy, Emily, you've hit the jackpot this time. Handsome, fit, sculpted jaw. My God, thank you, universe." "Patrick, quit gawking and help me get him home." "To your place or mine? You planning to keep him, huh?" "My place. Hurry before he freezes to death." Patrick surrendered, grumbling, and together they lifted the stranger into his car. The whole drive back, Patrick mumbled dramatically, "God, a guy this hot landing on my cousin's lap? Looks like I better start prepping my best man speech." Emily just bit her lip, too overwhelmed to argue. Her mind spun with questions. Who was this man? How did he end up washed ashore? Would he bring more chaos into her already messy life? She had no idea, but deep down, somewhere beneath her bruised heart, flickered a tiny spark of curiosity, a fragile hope, like the waves that never stopped kissing the shore. That night, Emily and Patrick awkwardly carried the mysterious man up to Emily's cozy little apartment. Patrick, grumbling under his breath, laid him carefully on the sofa and shot Emily a dramatic look. Saving a stranger is noble, but a handsome stranger? If you wind up with a surprise baby, don't call me to babysit. Patrick, shut up! Emily hissed, cheeks flaming. She hurried to grab towels and a clean set of clothes. Gently, she dried his hair, wiped the sand from his pale face. Under the warm light, his features were clearer. A strong nose, long lashes, a sharp jawline. Emily's heart skipped before she could scold herself for noticing. He let out a faint groan, his brow furrowing in pain. Emily's hands trembled, but she forced herself to stay calm, tending carefully to the small cuts scattered along his arms and shoulders. Patrick stood nearby, arms crossed, eyes wide with mischief. Okay, I admit, he's drop-dead gorgeous. Also, heavy as heck. You sure you want to keep him here? I could drag him to my place instead. Emily shot him a glare. Stop it. He nearly drowned. If you keep joking, I'll kick you out. All right, St. Emily. I'm leaving. Call me tomorrow if this Prince Charming wakes up and acts weird. Chuckling, Patrick slipped out the door, leaving the apartment quiet except for the soft hum of ocean waves outside the window. Emily stayed awake almost all night, changing cold towels for warm ones, checking his temperature, making sure his breathing stayed steady. Near dawn, the man finally stirred, his voice hoarse and fragile. Water. Emily jumped, gently lifting his head and pressing a glass of cool water to his lips. He drank slowly, each swallow bringing back a hint of life to his sunken face. Who are you? What happened to you? She asked in a whisper, heart pounding in her chest. The stranger strained to focus on her, lips barely moving. My name, Ethan Miller. Thank you for saving me. Then exhaustion pulled him back into darkness. Emily laid her warm hand over his, murmuring softly, "Sleep. You're safe now." In that fragile moment, something unspoken stirred deep inside her. She didn't know who Ethan Miller really was or why fate washed him up on her quiet shore, but part of her knew this man would turn her wounded, predictable world upside down in ways she could never imagine. Morning sunlight slipped through the curtains, gently warming the exhausted face of the stranger. Emily, curled up in the armchair by the sofa, had dozed off after staying awake all night. A soft cough snapped her awake. She blinked, startled to find a pair of deep brown eyes watching her. He was awake now, though still pale and weak. Hi. His voice was hoarse but warm. Where am I? Emily leaned closer, speaking softly. You're in my apartment. I found you unconscious on the beach last night. He blinked slowly, trying to push himself up, but winced in pain. Emily quickly slipped her arm behind him, propping a cushion to support his back. Thank you for saving me. His words came slowly, but his gaze was sincere. My name is Ethan Miller. I owe you my life. Emily pressed her lips together, avoiding his eyes. They were intense yet strangely reassuring. I'm Emily Carter, she replied quietly. Do you want some porridge? I can cook a little for you. Emily. Hearing her name from his lips made her heart flutter in the smallest, most surprising way. I'm sorry for imposing. The truth is, I don't have anywhere to go right now. I don't want to trouble you, but could I please stay here for a while? Emily froze. She had never let a strange man live in her home, especially one so tall and unfamiliar. But seeing him this frail, remembering how close he'd come to dying on that cold shore, she just couldn't say no outright. You have no home to return to? She asked, voice softer now. Ethan nodded, eyes steady on hers. That's right. I promise I'll pay for rent, utilities, everything. If you'd like, I can sign a written agreement. I don't want to be a burden. She fell silent. Outside the window, the gentle crash of waves filled the gap between them. Part of her wanted to refuse, but another part, foolish, warm, trusted the honesty in his eyes. All right, Emily finally exhaled, nodding slowly. But only temporarily. Once you're well, you'll need to find your own place. I don't want people gossiping about me. Ethan's lips curled into a faint, grateful smile that made Emily's cheeks flush despite herself. He spoke like a promise. I understand. And I won't let you lose a penny. Thank you, Emily." She only shook her head and turned away, hiding her flustered face. She couldn't quite tell if she had just welcomed a helpless man or opened her door to a warm storm that would stir her guarded heart once more. The first few days with Ethan staying at Emily's place were quiet, but full of small, surprising changes. Even though he was still recovering, he insisted on helping her with little chores. Folding blankets, watering the balcony plants, wiping down the kitchen counter. Emily at first kept scolding him to rest, but Ethan would only smile and say, "I can't just lie around all day while you wait on me." Every morning, Emily would get up early to cook porridge for him. But a week later, it was the other way around. Ethan rose before dawn, sleeves rolled up, moving calmly in her tiny kitchen. Emily, hair a mess, half asleep, would stumble in to find the smell of toasted bread and perfectly fried eggs drifting through the warm air. "When did you wake up?" she'd mumbled, rubbing her eyes. Ethan would just smile, voice low but comforting. "Just a bit ago. I don't want to be a freeloader. Eat up. I'll clean the dishes." Emily watched him, the tall man moving so naturally around her kitchen, sunlight catching the droplets of water still clinging to his shoulder. Her heart did an involuntary flip. Patrick appeared out of nowhere, arms crossed, nodding as he watched Ethan intently tightening a screw. "Emily, you better keep this man. I approve. Handsome, knows how to fix things, cooks well. My God, if you won't keep him, let me." Emily blushed, playfully glaring at her cousin before turning to Ethan. "You don't have to do all this. You're still a guest here. And by the way, this is Patrick, my cousin." Patrick gave Ethan a mischievous smile and said, "Hello, handsome." Ethan chuckled, his voice soft and his gaze so deep that Emily sometimes found herself looking away. "Emily, I owe you my life. This is nothing. Let me do it. It makes me feel useful." After breakfast, Ethan insisted on driving her to work on her old scooter. "You sure you know how to ride this thing?" Emily eyed him skeptically as he strapped on a helmet. "Why don't you find out?" Ethan winked, then revved the engine. His grip was steady, the sea breeze whipping through her hair, carrying the salty scent she loved. Sitting behind him, she rested her hands lightly against his back, but every time he braked a little too suddenly, she squealed and clutched his waist tighter. "I swear I'm not doing that on purpose. Roads are slippery," Ethan chuckled teasingly. You're teasing me," Emily huffed, giving his shoulder a playful smack, cheeks burning red. "That afternoon, Ethan, I'm heading into town to buy you some essentials and clothes. The ones Patrick gave you are way too tight. There's food in the fridge if you get hungry. Can I come with you? I can help carry the bags." "Sure, you're almost fully recovered now. I won't need to drag Patrick around like my personal errand boy anymore. He complains the whole time anyway. Oh, by the way, my friend transferred some money to your bank account." "How do you know my bank details?" "I did receive a large amount this morning. Must be from that." "That's a secret. I'll give you more later. Just give me $3,000, 0 cents, that's enough. Let's just say I'm paying 5 months' rent in advance." When they arrived at the mall, they stopped by the men's clothing section. Emily acted like a devoted girlfriend, picking out clothes for Ethan, from daily wear to comfortable loungewear. "That's enough. I don't need this much. This is more than enough." "Are you sure, Emily?" "Yep, let's check out." Just as they were heading to the cashier, they unexpectedly ran into Jason Reed, Emily's ex-boyfriend, with his new girlfriend. "Emily, is that you?" "Nope, just my shadow," Emily replied coldly. "Excuse us, you're blocking the way." "Who's the guy next to you? New boyfriend? Wow, didn't take long to move on." "Unbelievable how thick your skin is. You're the one who cheated, and now you're saying that to me? You think I'd cry and beg for you back? Never!" "You thought you were some kind of prize?" Jason opened his mouth to speak, but Emily had already pulled Ethan away. Ethan quietly walked beside her. "So he's the one who cheated on her? That guy's a fool. She's clearly classier and more beautiful than the new girl." "That guy was your ex?" Ethan asked. "Your taste was terrible." "Yeah, total jerk. He cheated on me with some girl he met at a bar." "Don't be like him, lazy and indulgent." "I only realize now how bad my taste was." You made the right call not going back to him. Next time, pick someone hardworking and sober. If I ever fall in love again, he'll definitely be better than that loser. Anyway, let's head to the supermarket, then stop by the fresh produce stalls and grab some rice at the market. You seem to know a lot of people around here. Old classmates? Ethan asked. Yay, the rest are just neighbors. What am I supposed to ignore people who say hi to me, and why the grumpy face? Ethan quickly changed his expression. Who's grumpy? Me? Not at all. Oh, please, like I didn't notice. You've been frowning this whole time. You're jealous, aren't you? You just want me to pay attention to you, huh? Emily teased, nudging him in the side. She felt comfortable enough to joke around with him now. Give me the list so we can get this shopping done and leave this supermarket. I just can't stand those guys smiling at you, Ethan said. Emily burst out laughing. This guy really couldn't hide his emotions. They'd been living together for a week now, and maybe that's why things had started to feel more natural, more familiar between them. Over the past week, Emily hadn't asked Ethan about his past. She could sense he wasn't ready. But deep down, she believed that if he had anything truly dark to hide, he wouldn't be living under the same roof with her like this. Let's drop off the groceries at the baggage counter first, then we'll go grab some veggies and rice, Emily said. Sure. Give me the bags, I'll carry them. You know, the girls we passed by couldn't stop staring at us. You sure you didn't wink at any of them? I didn't even look at them, let alone wink. Maybe they've just never seen someone as handsome as you before. Emily, this wind is really strong today. I almost got blown away. Just admit it, you only said that so you'd have an excuse to hold my hand. And there are too many people. I'm afraid I'll get lost. And I don't even have a phone to call you if I do. Liar. You just want to hold my hand. Fine, here, take it. From a distance, Patrick suddenly appeared and saw the two of them holding hands. He rushed over. Ha 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 ha. You two are totally in love, aren't you? Oh my God, Patrick, you scared me. What are you doing here? Buying lettuce. And what about you two? Why are you holding hands? He wanted to hold my hand so he wouldn't get lost. That's it, okay? Done with your questions? You're acting like we committed a crime or something. Really? And you actually bought that? Girl, it's obvious. He totally likes you. Patrick, you're overthinking again. Probably just hungry. I'm heading off now. Fine, but I'm coming over tonight, bringing snacks for you two. Love you for that. Bring a lot, okay? And be careful. Don't get mugged again. Ugh, I was just buying vegetables and wearing a gold chain and bracelet. No wonder people were eyeing me. Emily shook her head. While Emily picked out vegetables, Ethan walked silently beside her. Even while carrying multiple bags, he still looked unbelievably handsome. From now on, she decided, she'd always bring him along on shopping trips. It was convenient, and much better than listening to Patrick's constant complaining. In the evenings, Patrick barged in without warning, plopping himself on the sofa with a bag full of snacks. Oh my God, you two look like newlyweds, he howled with laughter, rattling a bag of chips. Emily, are you charging him rent for being your live-in eye candy? Such a waste to let him stay for free. Patrick, shut up, Emily hissed, throwing a pillow at her cousin. Ethan just sat there, quietly smiling, eyes flicking to the pink blooming across her face. The next morning, Ethan got up early. He wanted to look for a job. Good morning, Emily. I made breakfast. Come eat. Good morning, Ethan. Why are you up so early? Got plans? I'm going job hunting today. I feel bad just sitting around doing nothing. I don't want to rely on my friend forever. I can take the day off and go with you, Emily offered. No need. It'd be a waste for you to take a day off. Go to work. I'll drop you off. All right then. Ethan rode Emily's scooter. She let him use it, so he didn't have to take public transportation. On the way, Emily wrapped her arms tightly around his waist, like they were a real couple. Thanks for the ride, Ethan. Be careful, okay? Thanks for letting me borrow the scooter. You're too kind. From now on, I'll be your personal ride, all right? Sure. I'm actually nervous driving on big roads. You can use the scooter anytime. Thanks, Emily. I'll be off. See you later. As Ethan drove away, Emily mumbled to herself, So handsome. Even in just a t-shirt and jeans, he still stands out. Oh my God. Good morning, manager. Who dropped you off? Your cousin? He's hot. Is he single? Trisha asked. Emily narrowed her eyes. Morning, Sam. He's not my cousin, and he's not single. So don't even try. Wow, he's your boyfriend? Sorry, but you've got great taste. You two look perfect together. I wish I had someone like that. Meanwhile, instead of job hunting, Ethan decided to buy a fishing boat. He had his best friend put it under his name to avoid revealing his identity, just in case those who once tried to kill him were still looking. Becoming a fisherman would help him keep a low profile. Thank you, Mr. Harris, for selling me the boat at that price. Now you can buy medicine for your wife. Don't mention it, son. Just keep your identity a secret. And if you need help, come find me. Thank you so much, sir. Ethan inspected the boat. It was sturdier and nicer than he expected, worth every penny. He was already thinking about taking Emily out on it someday, if she'd agree. Hey, is that you? You own this boat? Jason Reed asked. Who are you? Ethan replied. Jason, Emily's ex. So, are you her new guy now? Listen, you'd better stay away from her. And who are you to give me orders? Ethan responded coolly. Look at you, clearly obsessed with her already. She's boring, moody. Every time I asked her to sleep with me, she refused, said she'd only give herself to the man she marries. And that proves she has values. You, on the other hand, are garbage. No wonder she didn't take you back. I respect her. I'm willing to wait. Ethan turned to leave, afraid he might punch Jason if he stayed longer. Hey, I'm not done talking, Jason shouted, and suddenly punched Ethan in the face, fueled by jealousy and anger. Ethan punched back, and only stopped when someone stepped in. Is he your friend? Ethan asked. I didn't do anything wrong. He came at me first. Sorry, he got emotional, Jason's friend replied. Ethan nodded and walked away from the beach. He didn't bother covering the cut on his lip. He knew Emily would be finishing work soon. From a distance, Emily spotted the injury and ran over. Ethan, what happened to your lip? Did you get into a fight? Who did this to you? Tell me, I'll punch him right back. It was Jason, wasn't it? He thought you're my new boyfriend. Come on, let's go home. Don't let your coworkers see. Wait, let me clean it for you. That stupid gorilla. Your wound just healed. Now you've got a new one. Ethan swallowed as Emily stood very close, her hand gently holding his chin while treating the wound. He couldn't look away from her beautiful, glowing face. What are you staring at, Ethan? You look at me like that. Nothing. It's just, you're beautiful. And you're still in uniform. If you were wearing a dress, I'd probably be staring all day. Emily blushed. Stop it. Don't flatter me too much or I'll lose focus. But thanks for the compliment. Anytime, let's go. Hold me tight, don't fall. By the way, did you find a job? Yeah. I'll be heading out to sea tomorrow at 4 a.m. with Mr. Harris and the others. I'm renting a boat to go fishing. Ethan didn't want to say he'd bought the boat. He feared Emily might start asking questions. Wow, congrats. You finally got a job. And what about your morning ride? I'll take the bus. But you're still picking me up at 7 a.m., okay? On their way home, they came across a young boy selling roses. Ethan bought all of them. Keep the change, kid. Oh, wow, thank you, sir. I've got food money for 2 weeks now. God bless you. Hold on tight to that money. Don't let anyone take it. Emily, these roses are for you. You're kind and deserve all of them. Oh my, getting flowers really hits different. My ex and I were together for 3 years and he never gave me flowers. Thank you, Ethan. Whoever becomes my future girlfriend is going to be really lucky. Actually, if it's you, then even better. Wait, are you saying you like me? Oh my God, Ethan likes me. Took you long enough to figure it out. Geez, don't say it so directly. I'm not ready for anyone right now. I just got out of a relationship. After 2 weeks of living together, Ethan had grown deeply fond of Emily. He loved her gentle spirit, how capable she was, and her cooking. He planned to confess one day, but not now. He would wait a few more months out of respect for her healing heart. Late night, she peeked into the living room. She'd always find him there, staring out at the pitch-black ocean beyond the window. One night, she crept out onto the balcony, carrying a thin blanket. She gently draped it over his shoulders. He flinched, but then simply smiled, catching her hand and holding it as if afraid she'd vanish. "Aren't you cold?" Emily asked, her voice softer than the night breeze. Ethan shook his head, eyes fixed on the far-off dark horizon. "I once thought the ocean would swallow me whole. Turns out, it brought me to you." Emily's breath caught. She'd wanted to ask so many times, but always bit her tongue, afraid to touch a wound he wasn't ready to expose. Tonight, though, something in his eyes said he was done hiding. "Emily, do you trust me?" He turned to her, his deep blue eyes shimmering with equal parts night and resolve. She nodded. "I do." Ethan exhaled, his voice steady but cutting through the hush like a thin blade. He confessed. He was the CEO of a major tech company, only son of an influential family in New York. His cousin, Richard, hungry for full control and the inheritance, had hired men to plant a bomb on the yacht where Ethan and friends celebrated a new project launch. "I found the bomb minutes before it went off. I had no choice but to jump, swim far out. The ocean was freezing, pitch black, but better that than being blown to pieces." His voice trembled, his hands squeezing Emily's tighter. "My best friend David Scott knows everything. He's been investigating. I had to let everyone believe I was dead so Richard would slip up and the police would get real evidence." Emily sat frozen, never imagining the man who fussed over her dinner each night carried a secret so harrowing. "I'm sorry for dragging you into this," Ethan murmured, eyes closing in weary defeat. Emily cupped his cheek, her voice unwavering. "Don't be sorry. If the ocean brought you to me, then I'm not letting you fight this alone." Right then, Ethan's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen. David. He stepped to the corner of the balcony, voice low and curt. "David, tell me you've got news." On the line, David sounded tense. "Ethan, listen, Richard suspects you're alive. He's got men checking every dock near Miami. Be careful. I'll send more people to watch over Emily's place." Ethan's hand clenched the railing, eyes darkening. "I won't let him lay a finger on her." David hesitated. "And don't forget to keep yourself alive too, old man." Ethan let out a dry laugh. "She's my life now." When Ethan stepped back inside, Emily was still waiting. She didn't ask anything more. She simply leaned her head against his chest. In that cold, endless night, his warmth told her one thing. Storms would come and go, but they'd survive, as long as they held on to each other. In the days after Ethan revealed his secret, something shifted quietly between him and Emily. Neither of them said, "I love you" yet, but every glance they shared told the truth they hadn't spoken. Every morning, Ethan was up before the sunrise, preparing breakfast and brewing a cup of coffee exactly the way Emily liked it. When she shuffled out of her bedroom, hair a tangled mess, he'd smile and gently brush the strands from her eyes, murmuring, "Sleep well?" Emily once thought she'd feel embarrassed living so close with him, but somehow, the invisible walls melted on their own. One evening, as light rain fell, Ethan pulled Emily out onto the balcony. He pressed a bouquet of vivid red roses into her hands, fresh petals still glittering with raindrops. "These are for you, because you deserve flowers every single day," Ethan said softly, his eyes locking hers in a way that made the whole world slip away. Emily giggled, hiding her blushing face behind the blooms. Inside the apartment, Patrick peeked out and shrieked, "Oh my God, this is so romantic. Ethan Miller, you're going to give me a heart attack. I want roses too, and a hot man to give them to me." Ethan chuckled, wrapping an arm around Emily's shoulders, pulling her closer. He bent down and whispered, "Ignore Patrick. Let's not waste this moment on his drama." Emily burrowed into his chest, whispering back, "Let him talk. All I care about is that this moment is just yours and mine." After that rainy night, there was no denying it anymore. Patrick officially crowned Ethan as Emily's unofficial future husband. Whenever he visited, he'd orchestrate cute mischief, buying them matching mugs or forcing them to cook dinner together to keep the romance alive. One evening, Patrick caught them bickering playfully over who got to slice the steak. He threw his hands up and shouted, "Dear God, newlyweds fighting already? I'm recording this for YouTube." Emily waved a knife at him in mock threat, while Ethan simply laughed, giving her a quick wink that said, "Ignore the clown." When Patrick left, peace returned. Ethan would wash the dishes, and Emily would stand behind him, watching the strong, steady line of his shoulders. Sometimes he'd turn around, brush her cheek with his fingertips, and murmur words that felt like a promise. "I won't let anyone make you cry ever again." And Emily believed him. She knew she hadn't said "I love you" out loud, but her heart already belonged, hopelessly, to Ethan Miller. The next morning, Ethan was up before dawn. He left a sticky note on the kitchen counter. "Heading to the docks early. Tonight, I'll make you salmon with lemon butter sauce. Love you, Ethan." Emily found the note while half awake and burst into a shy giggle. One little "love you" so casually written made her heart pound wildly, cheeks flushed pink. By 8, Ethan reached the fishing dock where he liked buying fresh fish straight from local fishermen. He carefully picked live salmon, laughing and bargaining good-naturedly with an old fisherman he'd befriended. But a few yards away, inside a parked black car, 2 men in dark clothes watched him through binoculars, faces carved from stone. "That's our guy. Richard will pay double if we do this clean," the bigger man muttered. His partner nodded, cocking the gun hidden under his coat. Ethan had just paid for the fish when a chill crawled up his spine. He scanned the area, eyes locking on a man approaching far too quickly. A shot rang out, slicing the air. Fishermen shrieked, crates of fish toppled, silver bodies flopping on wet planks. Ethan ducked, rolling behind a stack of fish bins. He grabbed a sharp fillet knife from a stall, grip steady despite his racing heart. One thug lunged. Ethan spun, slammed a knee into the man's gut, and rammed the knife hilt into his side. The second man fired again, bullet grazing Ethan's shoulder, blood blooming through his crisp white shirt. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Ethan seized the moment, kicked the gun from the shooter's hand, and tackled him hard onto the dock. He bolted toward the crowded market, blending into the chaos. His phone buzzed. "Emily." "Ethan, where are you? I heard gunshots near the dock. Are you okay?" Her voice trembled, thick with fear. Ethan ran, panting, weaving through alleyways. "I'm fine. Listen to me. Lock the doors. Don't open for anyone. Call Patrick to stay with you now." "But you, Ethan, I'm scared." "I promise I'm coming back to you. Trust me." He hung up, ducked into a shadowed alley, and speed-dialed David. "David, they hit me at the dock. Call in the cops, shut the area down. I need these guys alive so Richard has nowhere left to hide." On the line, David's reply was crisp. "Good job. I'm on my way. Stay sharp, buddy." At home, Emily was also worried at the same time. Patrick burst in, pale as a sheet. "Emily, there's news. Gunshots near the dock. People saw Ethan there. Can you reach him?" Emily's face drained of color. She called Ethan. All she heard was his ragged voice, and then the line died. Her chest squeezed painfully. Ignoring Patrick's protests, she grabbed her coat and bolted, catching a taxi straight to the fishing dock. A fine rain began to drizzle, the sea wind biting her cheeks. She jumped out of the cab and ran, shouting Ethan's name over and over. The dock was slick and deserted, fishermen hiding behind crates. Farther off, a man in black, eyes cold and feral, spotted Emily stumbling around. He sneered, lifting his gun to aim right at her heart. At that exact moment, Ethan burst out from behind stacked fish crates, roaring, "Emily, get down!" He sprinted, tackling her to the wet planks, shielding her body with his own. A gunshot cracked, missing them by inches, but another thug charged, knife flashing, and plunged the blade deep into Ethan's thigh. "Ah!" Ethan bellowed, fury burning in his eyes despite the blinding pain. He wrestled the attacker down, ripped the knife from his grasp, then hauled Emily upright. "Get back to the taxi, now!" he barked, breath ragged, blood seeping down his leg. "No, I'm not leaving you," Emily cried, clinging to him, half carrying him toward the flickering police lights ahead. Sirens wailed closer. David's SUV screeched to a stop, 2 patrol cars braking hard behind him. Armed officers swarmed the dock, tackling Richard's hired goons to the ground. Richard himself froze as David slammed a pistol to his forehead. "Dirty games cost lives, cousin. Time to pay up," David snarled, snapping the cuffs on him. Ethan's legs buckled. Emily caught him, tears streaming as blood dripped onto the wooden planks. "Ethan, stay with me. Look at me. You promised you'd come back to me," she sobbed, hands trembling against his cheeks. He forced a weary smile, voice raw. "Told you. I keep my promises. Always." David rushed over, grabbing Ethan just as medics rolled a stretcher out of the waiting ambulance. Patrick stumbled in right behind, screaming, "Oh my God, Ethan!" "Emily, are you two trying to kill me from stress?" Rain fell harder. Ethan slipped into unconsciousness in Emily's arms, but his eyes clung to her until the paramedics lifted him away. And Emily, heart-splitting, held onto his hand like her life depended on it. After that harrowing night at the docks, Ethan was rushed straight to Miami's main hospital. Surgeons removed the knife from his thigh, treated his shoulder wound, and gave him a blood transfusion right away. Emily didn't leave his side for a second. She sat curled up outside the OR, her coat soaked with rain, Ethan's blood still staining her sleeves. Patrick and David took turns bringing her food and tissues, but she couldn't swallow a thing. She just stared at the red "surgery in progress" sign, praying over and over. When the doors finally swung open and Ethan was wheeled out, pale but alive, Emily broke down sobbing like a child. She ran alongside his bed, clutching his limp hand. "Listen to me, Ethan. I won't let you leave me behind. You hear me?" she cried, voice trembling with fear and anger. Ethan cracked his eyes open, lips curling faintly. "Never planned to leave you anyway." The next day, Ethan was stable enough to be moved to a recovery room. Patrick and David discreetly stepped out, giving them privacy. Emily sat by the bed, gently wiping sweat from his forehead, her fingers brushing his damp hair tenderly. "You idiot. How could you risk your life like that?" Her voice wavered, eyes rimmed red from sleepless nights. Ethan slowly reached for her hand, his guard completely down, nothing left but raw honesty and love as deep as the ocean outside his window. "I'd rather get stabbed than see you hurt. Because you're everything I have left in this world." Emily bit her lip, tears dripping onto his hand. Ethan tugged her closer, whispering, "Come here. I'm too weak to hold you myself." She leaned in, pressing her cheek to his broad chest, ear resting on the steady beat of his heart. Ethan tilted his head just enough to plant a soft kiss on her messy hair. "Emily, I love you. I love you more than my own life. I've waited for the right moment to say it, but I don't want to wait anymore." Emily laughed through her tears. She lifted her head, locking eyes with those deep blue pools she used to run from. No more doubt, no more fear, only love, bright and undeniable. "I love you too, Ethan Miller. I've loved you since you taught me how to chop onions without crying." Ethan let out a quiet chuckle, then winced when pain flared in his wound. They both burst into giggles, their laughter mixing with the steady beep of the heart monitor. Patrick suddenly cracked the door open, poking his head in, phone in hand. "Did you guys kiss yet? I'm live streaming for the Protect Ethan and Emily's Love fan club." "Patrick!" they yelled in unison. Then Emily laughed, sinking her head into Ethan's shoulder. No matter what storms lay ahead, this moment belonged to them, completely, unbreakably theirs. After he was stable enough to leave the hospital, David and Patrick brought Ethan back to his family's private villa on the quiet outskirts of Miami. The estate was huge and serene, with flower gardens spilling all the way down to a private white sand beach. On her first day there, Emily felt shy seeing Ethan's mother, Helen Miller, and his grandfather waiting on the wooden steps, but any awkwardness vanished when Helen swept her into a warm hug. "Thank you for staying by Ethan's side when he needed you most. You're like his guardian angel," she whispered, eyes glistening. Ethan's grandfather, hair silver as clouds, patted Emily's shoulder with a teasing grin. "Sweet girl, don't let my foolish grandson sulk too much. When he sulks, he drives the whole family crazy." Emily blushed, laughing softly. For the first time, she felt she wasn't just a guest. She truly belonged here, part of this family. While Ethan rested, Emily was always by his side, helping him walk, bringing him his meds, brewing chamomile tea so he could sleep better. Every time he winced in pain, her touch on his hand eased it halfway. Meanwhile, Patrick and David, ever the loyal co-conspirators, plotted a grand surprise, a seaside proposal. That late afternoon, Ethan gently led Emily down to the beach right behind the villa. The sand was soft beneath their feet, the sunset painting the sky a deep amber. In the distance, Patrick and David pretended to fiddle with a camera, smirking like mischievous kids. Suddenly, fireworks exploded overhead, dazzling the twilight. Sea breezes scattered rose petals all over the sand, forming a vivid red path leading to where Ethan dropped to one knee. Emily froze. Her heart slammed against her ribs, eyes wide with astonishment. Ethan, pale but radiant in the golden dusk, looked up at her. "Emily Walker, you didn't just save my life. You saved my broken heart, too. I can't promise you the most luxurious life, but I swear to love you with all I have and protect you with all I am." He flipped open a velvet box. The diamond inside sparkled like a drop of ocean dew under moonlight. "Please marry me. Be my forever calm after every storm." Emily burst into tears. Behind them, Patrick and David whooped like lunatics, setting off more fireworks, cheering like their team just scored the winning goal. "Yes, I will, Ethan Miller." He rose shakily, wrapping her in a trembling embrace. Waves whispered on the shore, fireworks lit up the sky, and their hearts, now and forever, belonged only to each other. Ethan and Emily's wedding took place right on the beach behind the Miller family villa. The very place that once witnessed chaos now blessed their unshakable love. That afternoon, the golden sunlight poured like warm honey. Rows of chairs draped in white lined the soft sand, rose petals and pale blue hydrangeas. Emily's favorite, scattered along the aisle. Patrick, the ever-proud best man, strutted around like he owned the ceremony. David, reluctantly roped in as the second groomsman, looked more nervous than Ethan himself. Ethan, dressed in a perfectly tailored light gray suit, leaned toward Patrick and whispered, "You think she might change her mind at the last second?" Patrick elbowed him playfully, laughing, "If she runs, I'm marrying her myself." The soft piano cue floated in the air, and Emily appeared. Pure white gown, flowing veil, every step slow and graceful, but her eyes locked on the man waiting just for her. In that moment, Ethan knew every sacrifice had been worth it. Their vows were simple, honest, but powerful enough to move the ocean breeze. "I don't promise to be perfect," Ethan murmured, voice thick with emotion, "but I promise to hold your hand for the rest of my days, Emily Miller." "I won't promise to always behave," Emily teased, voice trembling but eyes sparkling. "But I promise to love you until these hairs turn white." Here's Patrick's wolf whistle and the soft roar of the waves blended into the sweetest symphony. The reception overflowed with laughter. Patrick kept pouring drinks for Ethan until he was tipsy, while David endured endless teasing from the bride's friends until his ears turned crimson. When it was time to toss the bouquet, Emily spun around, clutching her white rose bunch. She drew a deep breath and flung it high over her head. Patrick, eyes sharp as a hawk, leapt up and snatched the bouquet midair, earning a round of raucous applause. Then, grinning devilishly, Patrick ran straight to David, shoved the flowers into his hands and shouted, "You're next, David Scott. Better start planning." David's face flushed tomato red as the crowd erupted with whistles and chants. He bolted, hugging the bouquet, sprinting down the beach while guests laughed so hard they nearly fell out of their chairs. Ethan wrapped an arm around Emily's waist, both of them leaning on each other, laughing until tears filled their eyes. "Can you believe it? I never dared dream of this day," Ethan whispered. Emily laid her hand over his heart, feeling its steady warmth. "And now, we'll dream it together. Forever." Fireworks bloomed against the night sky. The ocean waves clapped gently at their feet, as if blessing them. Two souls who had survived every storm now stood side by side, strong as the sea, gentle as the breeze, forever each other's home. After their sweet beach wedding, Ethan whisked Emily away for a true honeymoon, a private bungalow on the white sands of the Maldives. Mornings, they watched the sunrise together on a hammock strung between two palm trees. Nights, Ethan whispered shy confessions into her ear until Emily blushed and buried her face in his chest. Turquoise ocean, soft white sands, they wrapped themselves around each other as if making up for every storm they had weathered. Back in Miami, Ethan carried Emily Bridalhauser through the villa's front door, just like in the movies Patrick always teased about. Patrick filmed the whole thing, blasting it across their friends' group chat, earning a red-faced Emily who chased him around the rose garden wielding a slipper. A year later, laughter rang through that same oceanfront villa, the bright giggles of a little girl filling every hallway. "Daddy, Daddy, look what I drew!" A tiny girl with curly hair and Ethan's deep blue eyes toddled over, clutching a scribbled drawing in her chubby hands. Ethan set his book down, scooped his daughter up, and beamed at her. "Did my Mia draw a castle for Mommy Emily?" "Yes, a big castle for Mommy, Daddy, and me, and when I grow up, I want a husband just like you," Mia squealed, giggling. Emily, dusted in cookie dough, peeked out from the kitchen, tapping Mia gently on the forehead. "Sweetheart, remember not to fall for pretty boys so easily, okay?" Mia pouted. "But Daddy's a pretty boy, and you fell for him, Mommy." Ethan laughed, pulling Emily close and kissing her forehead tenderly. "She's right. Mommy's been falling for Daddy forever." Patrick and David, who had dropped by for a visit, cracked up so hard they nearly spilled their drinks. Patrick scooped Mia up and twirled her around while David shook his head fondly. This house? Pure sunshine. Emily gazed at her three favorite men, husband, daughter, and their two meddlesome uncles. Her heart light as the sea breeze outside. Every storm, every scar, every tear had drifted away with the tides. All that remained was laughter, warmth, and a love that would never run dry. At night, the ocean murmured softly outside their window. Ethan cradled Emily close, murmuring against her temple as she drifted towards sleep. "Thank you, my love, for being my home, my safe harbor." Emily smiled dreamily, pressing her hand to his chest, feeling that steady, faithful heartbeat, the same promise he'd made long ago. "I'll be your home, forever." Outside, the moon shone bright over the ocean. A new chapter had begun, one written only in giggles, gentle mornings, and a lifetime of staying close, come what may.